All right, welcome back to Getting Sober. Again, my name is Jay, and today we are doing the third installment of our four-part series of episode number 120, titled Questions That People Ask When They Want to Start Their Sobriety. But first, make sure that you're subscribed by hitting the subscribe button down below. And at some point, leave this video a big thumbs up. How about you do it now? And then also to leave a comment for either me or for one of the helpful members of our community in the comment section down below. All right, let's get started with today's episode, which is the third part of a four-part series. Each part has 10 questions per episode, so there are 40 questions total. So we are going to be covering questions number 20 through 30. How about that? My numbers might be off. I think we ended on question 20 last time, so it's supposed to be 21 through 30, but you're gonna get a bonus. So how about that? All right, so we're gonna start off with question 20, even though I think the last episode had a question 20, but this is gonna be the new 20. How about this? It'll be 20B. All right, question number 20B. How about that? Did you find value in drinking? So some people abuse sugar or weed or opiates or uppers, whatever, downers, whatever they can get their hands on, but mine happened to be alcohol. So I recently admitted, I said that I haven't tried everything under the sun, but I've been to the moon and back a couple of times. So alcohol can be a tool just like anything else. And in the absence of better tools at my disposal for personal growth and development, how to handle relationships, and a wide variety of emotions, which is one of the most important and maybe valuable things about being a human being, is that we get to experience feelings. But a lot of people don't know how to deal with their feelings because of maybe how they were raised, the communities that they grew up in, being bullied when they were in school, you name it. We want to be more vulnerable, I believe, and we had instances where we were more vulnerable, and then we found ourselves being taken advantage of. So then we ended up doing what? Taking a step back so we can put a wall up and surround ourselves with some sort of safety and some sort of security from people and places and things that we felt like maybe we needed protection from. So we ended up dulling our emotions and our pain, and that's where and why and how I found value in drinking is that I'm kind of an introverted person. You may not be of that opinion by watching these episodes or coming to live streams, but I'm pretty quiet and reserved. I keep to myself for the most part, and I'm not a super social person. I kind of have to turn it on. And alcohol became the turn it on switch for me. I felt like, well, if I'm going somewhere, well, I'll just drink then. I'll just I'll have a shot or two before I leave the house, and then there'll be alcohol there, right? Or is it BYOB? Should we be out BYOB, or should we just bring some anyway, regardless if it's BYOB? Should we just sneak a flask in? Whatever the case was, I wanted to make sure that I had my social medicine, right? I wanted to make sure that I had my liquid courage, and I did find value in it in those ways because I didn't have better coping mechanisms. I didn't have better tools. I didn't know how to handle things like heartache and heartbreak and disappointments and jealousy and things like that. So I unnecessarily and incorrectly used the singular tool of alcohol to be the one-stop shop remedy for a variety of life's complicated processes. And then also too, I used it to time travel, right? It was kind of like, I knew that when I started drinking, I would pretend, I'd be like, no, I'm just gonna have one little drink and then we'll be productive. I'm like, that was like the devil talking to the angel, and the angel's like, yeah, right, we're gonna get shit-faced, we're not gonna get anything done, and then we're gonna be hungover, we're not gonna get pizza, but then we're gonna be hungover tomorrow, and then we're not gonna get anything done. And that's how it was. And I knew that I wasn't gonna get anything done. And sometimes it was just kind of like, I knew that once I started going through the motions in my head, when I started practicing the ritual of like what I had done every single time, going and grabbing my keys, getting into a car, driving down the street that goes into the direction of my local neighborhood bar or whatever, that I was gonna just end up in the same place, and I was at least gonna get something out of it. I was gonna get that dopamine release, because a lot of us maybe find out or think and feel that the true pursuit of getting a genuine dopamine release and having that happiness chemical released in our bodies, maybe we don't get that anywhere else. Maybe we don't get that from a lovely breakfast or a wonderful lunch or a compliment from a coworker or a boss, because you're not going to get one from your coworker or your boss. You know, maybe you're not going to get, maybe the brightest spot in your day is getting a lucky close parking spot at work or whatever. Or you happen to catch almost all of the lights on the way to work so that you didn't get written up for being late. You know, it comes with like these really, really small battles that kind of just depress us and make us feel kind of crappy about our overall existence. But alcohol would give us a dopamine release, and we can get at least one of those a day. So for me, you know, when I found myself in this rut that I had put myself in, and not growing and not advancing my career, not advancing my relationship, or you know, my personal, romantic or otherwise, that's what I was using alcohol for. That was the value that I found in it. It was just like this tool that just made me go, F it, I don't care anymore. And I know I'm not gonna care for the whole rest of the night. And then after that, I'll be unconscious, so I won't have to worry about it then. And then tomorrow morning, I'll be hungover, so I can't do anything either then. So, and that's kind of what, you know, that was a rut that I got myself into for at least a decade. And I know a lot of people kind of resonate with that. So let's move on to question number 21. What do you miss about drinking alcohol? I miss allowing myself to be kind of hopeless in a way. I miss the romanticizing of being deep in my feelings. I kind of became addicted to negative feelings, and I got addicted to the heroic act. To me, it was a heroic act of battling and sword fighting depression and trying to come to the rescue with a remedy, with a secret elixir that was going to reduce the depression, or at least I thought so, and provide me with happiness, a happiness feel-good chemical that I could just take whenever I wanted to. It was an answer in a can, and the bottom of a bottle, and the bottom of a can, and a barrel, and a six-pack, whatever it was, wherever and however it came in a shot glass, you name it, I was gonna take it because I knew what alcohol's effects were for me. But then, just like how the glass would be empty afterwards, I would then also feel empty too, because like kerosene to a fire, it's only temporary, right? And as passionate as I felt and as big as that fire is, when you dump kerosene all over it, it's very much short-lived and it's not lasting, and it doesn't leave you with the benefits that you were looking for, the results that you were looking for in a very real way. And you can have these very shallow and these very superficial wins, but they don't add up to anything. And then they also too end up depleting your wallet and your health and personal relationships, romantic relationships, you name it. But you know, I do miss allowing myself to just not care. You know, I miss sometimes. I don't really miss it, but I'm just saying I miss those parts of me, those days, those times where I had just allowed myself to just kind of give up, you know, and just give in to just, this is what's ever happening, and we're just gonna kind of just be here, and whatever happens, whoever comes by, and I mean, whatever, I don't know, whatever reckless decision I get myself into, like, you know, just the reckless aspects of it. And it's not something that I look forward to. It's not something that I like. I don't miss being reckless or being that version of me, but I miss the parts where I just allowed myself to just kind of be a lesser version at times, where life seemed to be a little more easygoing, I guess, in a way, but it was all just, like I said, it's all just an illusion. Like, I don't get anything that I'm saying confused. I very much like this version of me now. I guess if I were to summarize, to make it more clear, what I'm trying to say is like, what do I miss about drinking alcohol? I miss the wildness of it all. I know that I'm not going to get into nearly any of the situations that I gotten myself into with alcohol. I definitely have some pretty crazy stories, and I know that those stories are in my past, just like how, you know, I used to argue with my 5-year-old friends about who is better, Batman or Superman. I mean, those days are behind me, right? And that's all part of personal growth. And I don't entirely miss it. I do sometimes miss the risky adventure that I had gotten myself into in the past. And with that being said, I'm just going to move on to the next question. All right, question number 22. Question number 22 is, do you still think about drinking alcohol? Well, the human brain is capable of many thousands of thoughts per day, so I think it would be unreasonable to think that I don't still think about or have thoughts about drinking alcohol. I still have thoughts about doing all kinds of things that I don't do anymore, which is part of question number 21. What do I miss about drinking alcohol? You know, being wild and stuff like that, and getting myself into some sticky situations. We'll just leave it at that. But do I still think about drinking alcohol? Every now and then. You know, there's just so many associations with alcohol and drinking alcohol, because we managed to do so many things with alcohol. We opened up so many velvet ropes for alcohol to be our +1 in life, right? You know, whether it be, you know, mowing the lawn or organizing the garage or go clean out the car. It's like, oh, I guess it's chore day, so you might as well grab a 6-pack, and you're gonna help a friend move. Of course, there's gonna be beer and a 12-pack. You know, there's gonna be beer everywhere. There's gonna be alcohol everywhere. There's gonna be wine when you're prepping dinner. There's gonna be maybe wine or beer when you're drinking, or when you're having dinner, when you're drinking dinner. And there's gonna be maybe a little nightcap before you head off to bed, right? We found a way to incorporate alcohol into everything that we do, whether it's our birthday or our kid's birthday or your friend's birthday, or if it was somebody that wasn't even around and you just knew it was their birthday, you pour one up for them too, right? And so of course I still think about it, because there's still so many instances in my life, like every now and then I'll open up the refrigerator after a long, hard day of work. And then we all have so many associations, like, oh, long, hard day of work. I earned the right to just relax and just not care anymore. And my not care, relax tool was I'd open up my fridge or the pantry or whatever, and I'd grab myself a glass of, or pour myself up a glass of whatever, which would never be just one. It would always be, you know, there'd be another one after that one, maybe another one after that one. And so the thought still pops in my head. You know, there's just so many associations, but a thought is not a craving. And I'm gonna repeat that. A thought is not a craving. So don't get the two things confused. It's okay if you think about beer or wine, or even your favorite beer or your favorite wine, or even if you have the thought, like I was with Sam the moderator the other day, and we were out in a very hot open field playing frisbee golf, and I jokingly said, let's go sit on a patio and have a beer. And she correctly said, well, you could do that if you want to. And I said, a non-alcoholic beer. And she said, all right, I'll think about it. And I was like, I don't want a non-alcoholic beer. I don't even like beer. And so I was just joking. I wasn't actually implying it. But you know, the things, sometimes it comes into my head. It'll pop into my head, like, you know, what we had done every hot summer day was crack open a cold one, or we'd go sit on a patio and get a margarita, but more like we'd probably split a pitcher of margaritas and probably get a couple of extra shots on the side, you know, dump those in there because it's illegal to put more on, depending on the bar you go to. But there's a lot of associations, you know. If it was going to be, so anytime anybody mentions the beach, what are you thinking about already? You're like already thinking about what's going to go in the cooler, right? So there's all these new decisions and all these opportunities to practice our sobriety, which is not going to include alcohol now. So we have to find new ways, just different things. Like literally, there's everything else. We could do anything else sober. We could do everything sober except for get drunk, right? All right, question number 23. Question number 23 is, how long do you want to stay sober? So today happens to be my 10-month anniversary of being sober, which is my personal longest streak of being sober. So my goal is at least a year. And I said that, I think I may have said that when I was, if you watched I mean, there's 160 videos, and I'm sure I've mentioned it before a bunch of times. I'm not sure which episode I mentioned it in, but I think I decided the thought of 1 year became a goal, I think, once I got to about the 4 or 5 month mark. And I always tell people, I'm sure you've heard the phrase one day at a time, right? And when we talk about one day at a time, when anybody talks about one day at a time, it's very simple. It's pretty self-explanatory. And really all we're saying is don't get yourself overwhelmed. It's tomorrow is tomorrow. Right now, today is right now. That's what's happening right now. So whatever you have to do to get through today sober, and life will test you. There will be happy moments. There will be celebratory moments. An appropriate thing to do would seemingly be to have maybe a glass of champagne or a glass of wine or whatever, a celebratory shot or whatever. But we had too many of those already in the past, and now it's time to do work being sober. So there may be opportunities where it may have seemed appropriate, or that's what culture and society has deemed the thing to do, which is to consume alcohol, and then just keep on consuming alcohol, because why not? Let's just drink the whole rest of the bottle, right? So there's going to be situations like that, but one day at a time is always going to be the best formula for everybody, because the only moment that really matters is this moment right now. And maybe some of you are struggling to start your sobriety, or maybe some of you have already started and you're just like, that one day at a time was really resonating with me right now. It's really resonating with me right now. And I feel like today is just so long. And there's all these extra hours. I'm not really sure what to do with any of these extra hours. And I don't really have any hobbies. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And there's only so much Netflix and Hulu and TV that you could watch. And I washed all the dishes already. And I did all the laundry. And it'd start freaking out, but like, relax. Again, it's one day at a time. There's plenty of time to catch up. And so long as, we're lucky enough to have another day to make better decisions instead of worse decisions, we have opportunities to discover new things that we're better at, and reestablish old hobbies, or maybe to start some new ones. So how long do I want to be sober? Like I said, I want to try to get to a year, but that doesn't mean like on a year, I'm not like, scratching myself like, oh my God, I want to get to a year because I want to have a shot, and then I'll just put an asterisk on it. I want to get drunk. Like I have no desire to drink, right? I already know what drinking has to offer for me. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, tie me up to a lie detector, whatever you want to do. I know that this is the best version of me. And I know that all the best parts of me that I thought could only exist when I was drunk. Like, yeah, I'm not like inclined to go sing karaoke in front of a bunch of drunk people, right? Especially, while I'm sober. And, I may not be so inclined to cut a rug, and dance in front of a bunch of people. I'm also not really that inclined to do all those things anyway. Would it be nice to kind of practice those things and like naturally kind of feel like getting in the groove and doing a dance or two every now and then under the right circumstances? Yeah, sure. With the right person? Yeah, sure. Maybe if there's somebody that I want to get close with or whatever, celebrate however I celebrate. But again, it's just one day at a time, and hopefully I can be sober longer than a year. But it just really depends on the person. But right now, I'm sober for sure. I'm 10 months sober exactly to this day, and I see no end in sight. And I'm not going to let anything, there's not a big dinner coming up or a date coming up, and it's like, I don't know what to do. Like whatever the situation that's going to come up, the answer is not going to be alcohol. It doesn't matter if I get some bad news. It doesn't matter if I get some really good news. Alcohol is not going to be on the menu for me. All right. Question number 24 is, do you think you'll drink alcohol again someday? Well, maybe. I don't know. Again, like I just said in the last question, number 23, which is how long do you want to stay sober? I just said that I want to be sober for at least a year, right? So someday, is whatever someday is. It's possible that I may have alcohol again someday. When we start thinking about lofty goals and expectations, I made an episode called, we talked about managing realistic sobriety goals and expectations. We talked about all that. And when we start to put too much pressure on sobriety is when we start maybe backtracking or start the negotiation process in our heads again. We start having thoughts like,
well, I've been sober for a month or 2 months or 6 months or whatever. Maybe I can have a glass of wine with dinner and maybe it won't be a problem again.
it's like, and if you're already like going through though, if that kind of voice is happening in your head and you're starting up with the maybes and the, but like we'll see, or, you know, it's, if there's a lot of maybe questions that are going on in your head and you're a little bit apprehensive, chances are it's probably not the right move. Almost every, I'll say at least once a week, I get a message from somebody saying, I was sober and then I tried to have a drink and now I'm not so, and then they end up, then it became a 3-day drinking binge, or it became, then I ended up drinking for 10 days, or like now I was sober for 5 months and then I had a drink and then, or somebody I got broken up with or whatever it was. It's like life has all the same excuses, you know, for the most part, unless you live in a extreme torturous country. It's like we're all susceptible to firings and demotions and breakups and makeups and deaths in the family. Those are all the common ones, right? Maybe not being able to pay the mortgage, or maybe losing your house, or getting evicted from your apartment, or whatever it is, getting your car repoed. There's, you know, those are the main, in the top 10. Those are the main, and maybe getting diagnosed with something, you know, that's incurable, or it's highly inconvenienced or detrimental to your everyday success and overall well-being, right? That pretty much rounds out the top 10. And we're all susceptible to that because we are all human beings. We all live by the same set of rules and laws of physics, right? So do I think I'll drink alcohol again? You know, it's probably, I think it's likely that I'll drink again, but that's not today and it's not tomorrow, and it's definitely not going to be in the next 2 months, because my goal for myself is 1 year, but that wasn't the goal that I set out for myself. My goal was 1 day at a time. And my goal in the beginning was, I'm going to be a month sober. And when I decided, it wasn't maybe we'll try it or maybe we'll see, or it was, I am going to be sober for a month, right? If you said like, I am going to get my degree, is much different than I'm going to try going back to college and see how it works. Or I'm going to try marrying this person. And I don't know, we'll see. We'll be married. So it's like, it's more official than being engaged. It's more official than and both of those are more official than being, boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever. So when you commit, when you actually say words that mean more, like I am going to be sober for a month. Once you get there, now you have all this positive momentum. You have all this wind in your sails so that you can and are more likely to succeed and make it to 2 months or 3 months. You can make it to 3 months, maybe 6 months or whatever. But again, it's just 1 day at a time because there are going to be circumstances. Somebody's going to cut you off in traffic. There's going to be, like I said, somebody's going to move away. Somebody's going to move back home. There's going to be a reunion. There's going to be long lost whoever's. There's going to be reasons. There's going to be game days, plenty of game days. There's going to be your team is in the championship. How am I supposed to not drink? Whatever it is, 1 day at a time. All right. All right. Question number 25. Do you feel lonelier now that you're sober? Yeah, in a way, I sort of do. There was a concert venue that I used to always go to, and I have not been back there since the beginning of the pandemic. And they're open, and I've walked past it, and I've waved to some familiar faces inside, but I know that, and I knew that it was a toxic environment for me. Though I had been there, I will say I went there for an art show and I was standing out in the back, but I think I was still drinking then. So yeah, that was before I got sober. It was at the end of, or the middle of last summer was the last time I was there. And then when things were going on with the pandemic or whatever, long story short, I know I would see a lot of familiar faces there. I know that when I would go into this place, I would know at least a dozen people there on any given night, and it may be way more than that. And it would be like, I would know the bartender and I would get free drinks and whatever. I know the door guy, and the door guy wasn't going to charge me or whoever I came in with. And I might even see the owner, and the owner might say like, hey, do you want to DJ sometime this, in the next couple of weeks? And I'd say, no, thank you, whatever. And then somebody would be like, stand by the bathroom and be like, hey, you want to go to the bathroom? I'm like, no, thanks. So I don't want to put myself in situations like that. So do I consider that being lonelier? Well, I don't consider that company that I want to keep. I'm gonna say that again. I don't consider that to be company that I want to keep. So some of those are nice people, and I'm not saying like I'm not judging anybody. Everybody's free to do whatever they want and whatever makes them happy, and I hope that it's bringing them true happiness, and I hope that they all have a better balance in life. But I know that that's not what I want for myself at this stage in life. Just like how I don't play in sandboxes anymore, and I don't play tag football. I don't play touch football in fields with my friends anymore. I don't go sledding. And there's a bunch of things that I used to do, and it served its time and it had its purpose, but now I'm in a different phase in life, and I'm trying to take myself more seriously and present myself with more opportunities to have success and have the future that future me wants, that current me has to earn. So I feel like the friends that I have now, I have a better quality of friends, and it's definitely lesser amount of people for sure. And there are definitely times where I feel lonelier, but at the end of the day, I'm still the one that has to do the work. I'm still the one that has to watch the tutorials. I'm still the one that has to build my resume and rebuild my resume and continue populating my portfolio and trying to find new clients, because those drinking buddies are certainly not going to do that for me. And I think part of our wishful thinking is that like, well, I'll get drunk and I'll be chatty and I want to talk to everybody. And because I'm talking to everybody, maybe I'll get some more clients. I'll get some more business for my, whatever it is. And then that never ends up being the case. It's like, then you end up talking to that person, you see them a month later, and then you remind them, and they're just like, oh yeah, really? And then you were like, oh yeah, me too. Because the next morning I didn't care, and I didn't follow up just the way that they didn't follow up, and it was just like, yeah, we're just two drunks pretending like we're gonna be professionals, and then we're not, right? So yeah, maybe I feel a little bit lonelier, but it's just like I would rather have 2 quality friends than 200 drunken associates. All right, question number 26 is, have you ever been arrested while intoxicated? Yeah, I got arrested in Columbus, Ohio. See, what had happened was I'd showed up when I was in Columbus. I was going to art school. I went to Columbus College of Art and Design. And when I went to college, I was also the president of a nonprofit organization where we put on all these different art shows, and I was doing something like an art show a month. Not just me, but like putting on art shows in all of these different spaces in Columbus, Ohio for all of these different people. So at any given time, I had been in charge of 20 different artists at a time, also while going to college. And to sum up the story real quick, I'm going in the wrong direction, sorry. That's just a little bit about me. But when I lived in Columbus, that's why I lived in Columbus, for art school and be an artist for all that stuff. But I showed up to one of the venues that I used to perform at as I used to show my paintings, and I was just a person about town. I was a personality, so to speak. And so I went to one of these venues and I showed up late. I wanted to drink, and I was drinking, and I wanted to party. I wanted to go out. I wanted to, hang out with my friends. I wanted to go to this place where, I knew everybody. I knew the owners. It was kind of this swanky club. It's not open anymore. And it's been rebranded as something else. But I went there, and I was sitting outside because it was already like 2:00 in the morning. And I may have I did instigate a fight. And I'm not sure what the circumstances were. I don't know who said what or who did what, but whatever ended up happening in the whole situation, pushes came to shoves, and then all of a sudden I felt a little drop of something on my face. And that drop of something that was on my face was bike bicycle cops had showed up and just started macing the whole crowd because there was like a lightweight brawl was happening that, again, maybe I may or may not have instigated. So they started macing everybody, and I felt this drip on my face, and then I went to go wipe it, and I was like, oh no, it clicked in my head that I'd gotten maced, and it was just, intense fire burning. Not a good time. 10 out of 10 do not recommend getting maced by any police department. And then so I ended up getting arrested for that. I'm not gonna, tell the whole story, but it was, I ended up it was pretty rough. There's a picture of me somewhere where the police department, a lot of knees and throats and knees on faces with my face on the ground while I was getting punched in the head while my head was on the ground, knees in my back. I got tased twice. There's a picture with, I have 2 black eyes from the police department, and both of my eyes are completely blood, like blood blankets. And so not a good time. So yeah, it's a story, not one that I'm proud of, but yeah, I've definitely been arrested while intoxicated. And that's the end of question number 26. So question number 27 is, do you think alcohol causes depression and anxiety? Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know about you, but I'm willing to bet that you probably experienced the in the middle of the night anxiety. So I think that we all maybe were of the opinion that
alcohol helps me sleep.
Because alcohol is a depressant after all, right? And it is a sedative after all also, right? So because of that, it does seem to be a magical elixir for getting to sleep and passing TF out, right? So in that though, how many of you were waking up in the middle of the night, having to go to the bathroom and having that uneasiness kind of feeling in your gut and the top of your, in your chest, the weird anxiety butterflies in your chest? I would wake up with those at 4 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning. I have this poor quality of sleep. And granted, yeah, I got to sleep real easy at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, but then I would wake up at 5 o'clock. I'd leave the bar at 2 o'clock, whatever. So I'd go to bed at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I'd wake up at 5 o'clock with anxiety butterflies. And then I would go back to sleep. And then I wake up at 7. Still, maybe have to go to the bathroom. Maybe I have these anxiety butterflies, whatever. And I just have the poor quality sleep, wake up, go back to sleep, wake up, go back to sleep. And I was able to go back to sleep just because I felt sick. I felt poisoned. Now, try to go back to sleep now after being sober. Not gonna happen. I woke up this morning. I think I woke up this morning at 6, which is not terribly late, but I didn't fall asleep until something like 12:30. So I got 5.5 hours of sleep, and I was even shocked. I was surprised that I got that little sleep, but then I woke up and I just started working and got some stuff done, and I was productive. So that's something that I look forward to now is being more productive and having less anxiety because I'm more productive. A lot of times when I feel anxiety, where a lot of us feel anxiety, it's our body and maybe our sixth sense or whatever. It's just internally, we know that there's something else that we're supposed to be doing. There's something else that we are supposed to be doing, and we're probably doing what? Ignoring it, right? So if we're ignoring that thing that we're supposed to be doing, how is that supposed to make us feel? How do we think that you're gonna feel? You're probably gonna feel anxious because you keep putting this thing off, and you keep putting this thing off, and you keep putting this thing off. And if you keep putting this thing off because you have anxiety about it, and it keeps producing more anxiety, then the further back it gets and the further down it gets on your priority list, then it causes depression. But then also too, this chemical state, this chemical balance or imbalance that you have because of alcohol also continually leaves you in a state of dopamine release and then depression. And then that's where you're kind of stuck trying to get back to par the next day. And then by the time that you're off work, then you feel good enough, you feel as close to par again that, yeah, maybe I went pretty hard last night, but I feel kind of good today. So, I'm gonna go back to the bar, I'm gonna have a drink, and I get that dopamine release, and then boom, and then you're back down again. And then you're just in this endless, repetitive cycle. So do I think that alcohol causes depression and anxiety? For sure. It's when it's depressing that we have this easy button with alcohol, and we just keep slapping that thing every day. Every day we slap the crap out of that thing, and then when it breaks, it's also a button. It's a bummer. And what I mean by it breaks is that, well, we have this deal with alcohol. Well, alcohol, I chose to consume. I paid for you. I spent part of my life already in the past, and I earned a paycheck, and I spend part of that paycheck on you, alcohol. And the deal that we have, alcohol, is I'm going to bring you into my body, and what you're going to do is you're going to change my physiology so that I feel happier, right? Alcohol, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you do every single time. So do it, alcohol. Okay, oh, so we need more. All right, so then I'll have more alcohol then. All right, here comes more alcohol, and then you have more alcohol, and it doesn't work the same way. And you're like, what gives alcohol? I just want to be happy, alcohol, make me happy. And then you have more, and then you get angry, and you get more depressed, and it's just a vicious cycle. So I'm glad to have those days behind me. All right, that was question number 27. Question number 28 is, how has your life improved? It's improved a lot of ways for me. I knew that I was standing in my own way. I was standing in the way of my own blessings. And I honestly felt stupid. I felt dumb every day that I kept asking, I kept praying like, God, please help me to get sober. God, please help me to have the relationship that I want to have. And please bless me with more success and like better jobs and stuff like this. And then but then at the end of the night, I'd like go to the bar and I'd be drinking till 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And then I'd be waking up at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, whenever, and self-sabotaging. I wasn't even giving myself enough hours of productivity in the day to receive any of these blessings, right? So it was like I was asking for food while my plate was still dirty, or I was just kind of like cleaning one little spot of my plate and saying like, okay, here, please feed me, please give me food, right? And it was like, all right, well, you only made enough space in your plate for a dollop of food, so you're only gonna get a dollop of blessings. So fortunately, I was persistent enough, and I kept working on it, and I have a good amount of blessings, but I personally feel like I'm a little bit behind in the blessing department. But is that going to stop me? Am I going to let that stop me from continuing to move forward full speed ahead to acquire whatever blessings I believe are mine? No, I'm definitely going to keep moving forward, and I'm going to keep trying to share those blessings with you mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and also too, hopefully, for you financially, right? So those are the big 5 that I always talk about. And I've also recently incorporated creatively, because I'm a creative individual, and then perhaps romantically, maybe. We'll see. When we talk about maybe having the ideal partner, somebody that's going to love you the way that you want to be loved. You always have to also too ask yourself like, well, am I even loving myself? Am I loving myself? And do I love myself? And if the answer is no, then, or like maybe, then where in there does anybody else love you also? Like who's gonna love you? Who's gonna love a person that's not loving themselves, right? You just hope that like somebody's gonna just come and save the day and come to the rescue and just like stroke your hair and just tell you sweet, wonderful nothings and make you feel special and tell you that everything's gonna be all right. There's nothing to worry about. You're special and I love you and I see the potential in you. And we are gonna work together to make you the best version of you. That's not exactly how it works. That's what we're trying to do here for you with this channel, but you still have to do the work. You still have to get up. And then after you get up, you have to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Then you're gonna have to put one foot in front of the other foot in a consecutive series of motions to get further away from alcohol and get closer to a future that you want to have. So my life has improved in all of those ways, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and definitely financially. And as I continue to find more of the benefits, such as getting more in touch with my more innocent feelings and my vulnerabilities and being okay with being myself and knowing that there are gonna be some shitty people out there. There are gonna be some people that are gonna be jealous of your transparency. There's gonna be some people that are gonna be jealous of your vulnerabilities. There's gonna be some people that are just gonna be jealous of you having a smile on your face. But that's their miserable life to live. And as long as we continue to move forward and hold our heads up high with integrity, there's nobody that can take that away from us. and what can potentially happen out of that situation. Bad things could potentially happen out of that situation, not jealousy, but we hope that as we continue to illuminate our path and show people that we are happy and found a new sense of contentment and purpose within ourselves, maybe because of sobriety, we may convert some of those people into allies instead of enemies. Question number 29 is, how much more productive has your life been since quitting? Well, maybe you know, or maybe you don't know, but I have I have the Google Task app. So off of my main screen, let's see if I can show you. I have my calendar, and you see it's all just full of stuff, right? Lots and lots of stuff. So it looks like I'm pretty busy, right? And then, but I have all these tasks for I have all these lists of videos that I want to make, and quotes, and my to-do list, and things I want to do today, and episodes for Getting Sober Again, and episodes for J-Pod. And so you might say like, well, that didn't look like it was very big. So like, well, let me click on the Getting Sober Again list. So I'll click on the Getting Sober Again list, and some of you I've showed you this before, but like, so these are how many episodes I have for the future I've written down. So this is part of like my daily activities. It's like I sit down and I create. I allow myself the time and the space to create. I sit in silence and I allow ideas to come to my mind. Look at how many ideas. I can't even get to the bottom. So you get the point. Those are all episode ideas for Getting Sober ... again. And that's just one aspect of how I've been more productive. Because now that, a lot of people say like, well, I'm bored now. Now I'm sober. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And it's like, well, I'm going to say this as nice as I can. That's a you problem. And I don't mean to insult anybody, but like, if that offends you, then it's probably a little bit true. Boredom is a you problem. We live in an age where you can instantaneously see anybody's face via a Zoom call or Duo or whatever. I don't know video conferencing, but you get my point. You can teleconference with anybody around the world at any time. You can send text messages to people. We have Hulu, we have Netflix, we have Amazon Prime, we have pizza places all over. We have fast food. There's so many options for entertainment. It's ridiculous. So when people say, I'm bored, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now, I really don't have any sympathy when you say that you're bored. Because part of you saying that you're bored is you're on YouTube commenting on my videos saying that you're bored. Well, you're already in a place called YouTube, which is full of tutorials on how to change your own oil, or how to fix your engine, how to replace a window, how to regrout the tile in your bathroom. There's so many things that you can learn. Learn how to do something. Learn how to make pickles. I don't know. Learn how to make kimchi or sauerkraut. Whatever. I don't know. Learn some new recipes. Learn how to cook. There's so much information. This is the information age. There's so many things that you can learn. And I know that my life has improved in so many different ways, whether it be just, I want to learn a new hobby. Well, now I get to learn a new hobby and I get to hang on to those skills because I'm not drunk and my skills aren't diminishing, and I'm really only just limited by my energy levels, which aren't going to dwindle or diminish because I'm not poisoning myself anymore. All right, moving on to the last question number 30. Remember, we're gonna have a fourth and final episode, and that'll be questions number 31 through 40. So each episode has 10 questions that I answer. And question number 30, the final one for this episode, is how much money have you saved since quitting alcohol? Well, I gotta write that, since quitting alcohol. There you go. So, I always talk about the Quitzilla app, which again, I'm not associated with, but even if I was, so what? But in the video description down below, there are a bunch of helpful resources. Did you know that? There are the top vitamins, minerals, and nutrients and supplements that I talk about that everybody should be consuming at least on a daily basis. Sam, the moderator, and I found the best products for you at the best prices. They are not the cheapest, and they are not the best of the best. They are the best, most affordable vitamins and supplements that you should buy, in our opinions. And then also too, book recommendations about quitting alcohol are also down there. And then there are resources and other links for sobriety. And a couple of them are Quitzilla for Android and Quitzilla for iPhone. So if you want to download the Quitzilla app, check it out. This tells me how much time I've been sober, and it also tells me how much money I've saved. So check it out. Here's a screenshot from today. Today happens to be August 30th, my 10-month anniversary. And in 10 months, in 303 days, 21 hours, and 45 minutes, I have happened to save $6,512. And I've used that money to buy myself a new laptop so that I can edit these videos even better. I've used some of that money to buy a new microphone so that I sound really nice. And then also I have more tools to do live streams for you all and with you all every Friday and Saturday. Every Friday and every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. So the money that I've saved, maybe I didn't save it, but I spent it on things that aren't in the public sewer system, right? And that makes me feel happy because like I already have a lot of stuff. And I'm definitely not a minimalist. I will say that. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm not a minimalist. But all the things that I have are things that are useful. I am a big fan of tools. So with that being said, I've saved a ton of money. I came up with a conclusion that I was spending about $20 a day on alcohol and alcohol related expenses. And every now and then, somebody will hop into the comment, a troll will troll in the comment section and say something like,
You're only spending $20, are you? And you even have alcohol problem?
You know, it's like, whatever. Miserable people say miserable things. And it's not a contest. And if you take pride in spending more than that on a daily basis, then that's how you feel, I guess. But so I determined I was spending about $20 a day. Some of you definitely spent more and some of you definitely spent less. And we've also taken those polls and we've asked those questions in our live streams on Friday and on Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We ask those kind of questions and many more. So if you haven't yet, please consider stopping by. It's free to come hang out and to chat with us and have a good time. The whole point of the live streams is to provide a safe and friendly place where you can come and hang out and do something besides go to a toxic place, go to a bar, go to a place where you're gonna meet temptation or have to deal with cravings so that you can make better progress along your sobriety journey. So please consider putting in your calendar right now, since you're probably watching on your phone, open your calendar, go to your home screen, and then swipe over and go to your calendar, and then tap the Friday, and then add at 7 o'clock Eastern or whatever it is in your time zone to come by and hang out with us. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to our channel. We are doing very fun work here that I believe is also God's work, right? You're trying to make God's job a little bit easier. And we're not practicing and really preaching religion here. All it is a safe place to come and make better decisions. And you know, I definitely do my due diligence to shout out God from time to time, and I have no problems with that. So with that, I want to wish you good luck on your sobriety journey. Don't forget to leave this video a thumbs up in case you forgot, because I mentioned in the beginning, not forget, and then look, you forgot to leave a thumbs up and leave a comment for me or for anybody else in the comment section down below. Somebody will respond. And today I have read 100% of the comments. So I promise you that if you will take the time out of your day to write a comment, that I am going to take time out of my day to read your comments. All right, that's all for now. Stay tuned for the last 30 seconds or so for this episode. If you want to see the previous episodes, they are about to pop up on the screen in 3, 2, 1.